This honor is it's really overwhelming for me. I've been thinking about this for a while since I got the call about this event, and I've actually tried to spend some time to understand what this really means. What it means to be in the Cal Lacrosse Hall of Fame with such amazing company. And Coach Wayne said a lot about it. I want to give my version of that with a few words here. I want to make sure I thank everybody who's here, first of all, who put this event together, the Hall of Fame committee, all of our friends who traveled from so far, and my family, who Alex mentioned here. I want to call out a couple more folks here. My mom is here. She's an amazing storyteller, and I want to tell some stories tonight, okay? My stepfather is here. He's the historian, and I want to talk a little bit about history tonight. I won't spend too long, but I do have some stuff I want to say. My father is here tonight. He's a psychiatrist. A master of prescribing controlled substances that can alter the mind. That's part of the Cal Lacrosse story. You guys know that. My stepmother is not here tonight. She passed in September, but she was someone who meant so much to me. She taught me how to keep memories and share those memories, and I do want to share some of those memories tonight. My in-laws are here from Italy, Tony and Geraldine, and my sister-in-law, Stefania, so I want to make sure that I thank them for being here. And of course, my beautiful boys, my 12-year-old boys. Probably I have 5 minutes max to talk tonight, but I might overrule them a little bit on that. This is a real homecoming for me. I grew up in Berkeley. I went to Berkeley High School. I went to Cal, obviously. I live in Los Angeles, but coming home to this beautiful place, Wayne mentioned it, but it truly is something special. And I want to get to why that is extremely unique for this community in a moment. I first started playing lacrosse, really learning about lacrosse, the summer between 7th and 8th grade. I was at Boy Scout camp, and a guy named Dave Pachter, who went to Berkeley High, he was 4 years older than me. Around the campfire, he told these amazing stories of the Berkeley High lacrosse team. This band of wild athletes, these crazy lacrosse players, many of whom were back in that table right there. And he told this story about this Northern California championship game against Bishop O'Dowd. 1989, and Berkeley High beat Bishop O'Dowd in overtime. And there was a guy on that team named Ryan Taylor. Many of you know Ryan and know the story of Ryan. And Ryan scored 8 goals in that game, including the overtime victory, where he literally caught the ball, stole it on a ride, and dove and scored the game winner to send Berkeley High to the championship. And I've watched that tape. I have that tape. And I've watched that tape thousands of times. And it's on my YouTube channel if anybody wants to watch it. This story, this myth, this legend of the Berkeley High lacrosse team, and especially Ryan Taylor, changed my world. I was a kid who was shuttling between parents' houses in middle school. I was slightly above average athletic ability. Oh, is that funny back there?
How about the shoulder? How many times have you put your shoulder back in?
Is this an interactive conversation? All right, let's make it interactive. I needed something to grasp onto when I was young, like many people did, and lacrosse was something I could really sink my teeth into. And the vision of what Berkeley High offered and Ryan Taylor as an inspiration was something that I could see as a path that I wanted. So I went to Berkeley High, and I played hard, and I did my best, and we were as good as we could be. We battled all of the teams that many of you are familiar with or went to schools with, and we did great. But my senior year, and I was trying to think of a really positive version of this story, one positive version of it, but I'm hoping we'll take 2 negatives. Sort of a dad joke there. But my senior year, Ryan Taylor took his own life, as many of us know. And From that moment on, I realized I had to figure it out myself. Ryan had gone back east. He had followed a path that I wanted to follow, and I had planned to go back east and play at Duke. I didn't get into Duke, but luckily I got into my safety school. I got into Cal. So when I started at Cal, I realized I had to find my own path. I had to figure it out for myself. And I didn't know what that meant, but I knew that I was surrounded by an amazing group of veterans who were at Cal. Guys like Kevin Flynn and Kevin Duffy and Terry Flynn and Mario Anea and Andy Barnes, our goalie. Amazing seniors who were there. Spencer Young, Mike Gridley. And we had an amazing recruiting class. We had an incredible freshman class. Guys like Alex Mast, who I'd played against in high school. He didn't know me, I knew him. Justin Stevens, Ned Topham, JP Harder. Amazing players. And so we were really good freshman year. We were really good. We beat everybody. We beat Whittier at home. We stomped them. And then we went back east, and we beat Holy Cross as a bunch of West Coast kids going back east and beating those East Coast kids. That was a huge achievement. And then the next day, we played, the day after St. Patrick's Day. We'd been out all night drinking at the Goodwill Hunting Bar and, found ourselves on the field. And we got beat by Boston College. But that was okay. That was okay. And we came back and we played in the WCLL Championship. And I want to show you just this picture here that's up there. It actually comes from the Daily Cal. I have a little excerpt here from May 2nd, 1995. That's the picture of me there. And the headline here, which I think is hilarious, Lax waxes a pair in defense of title. Right? Daily Cal. That's a little pun going on. Bears down Chapman and UCSB. So we won the championship, but the path to get there was pretty wild. And there's a moment I want to talk about. So I'm just going to read this for a second. Who says Cal Sports men's teams can't win championships? While many of Berkeley's major sports teams have fumbled through well-publicized, disappointing seasons, the men's lacrosse team, Cal's best-kept secret, has taken the national club title, not exactly the national club title back then, for the second consecutive year. The Bears won the Western Collegiate Lacrosse League Championship with a thrilling overtime victory over Chapman in the semifinal and a domination of UC Santa Barbara in Sunday's final. What happened in that Chapman game, I think, is really important to talk about. We were losing badly in that game, in that semifinal game. And we had clawed our way back. With about 30 seconds to go, Coach Bajesi calls a timeout. We're down 10-9. Now, I'll just give you the spoiler. Obviously, we end up beating Chapman in overtime because a guy named Pete Flannery, who I don't think is here tonight, scored an amazing goal. PT! But to tie that game up with 30 seconds left, Coach called a timeout. And Pete, I don't know if you remember this, but I certainly do. Coach calls a timeout, and he, as a group of freshmen, we were all freaked out. What's going to happen here? How are we going to get past this? Coach calls a timeout. He probably gave some amazing Braveheart-esque speech to fire us up, get everybody excited. And he may have, but the reality was that none of us were really listening. I wasn't. The conversation we were having was, are we going to eat our shrooms tonight? Or are we going to wait the next day? Which was not the kind of conversation Coach wanted to hear at all. As it turns out, somehow, out of the timeout, I got the ball, and I drove the crease. Justin Stevens was wide open on the crease. I give him the ball. He ties it up. We end up winning the game in overtime. We beat Santa Barbara in the championship, and we have our shrooms after the championship game, as you should. And it was an amazing series. Amazing experience. And so for a couple of years, we were riding that high. I think for myself, I definitely enjoyed that whole experience all the way through to senior year. So I do want to give a little story about senior year here. Now, you may have heard about the championship game, the national championship game where we won 16-15 in overtime over BYU, right? That was an amazing game in St. Louis, but it actually turns out that was the second best 16-15 overtime victory in a championship game that year. Because a few weeks earlier, we had beaten Whittier, our arch rivals, up in Stockton in the WCLL championship. And that WCLL championship game was the most meaningful for me, and I think for a lot of guys, because it really was the rivalry. The BYU guys, they were nice guys, right? It was great to win the national championship, but they were nice guys. They were grown men, frankly. And at halftime, you know, they were drinking milk, and their wives and kids were running around on the sideline. But they were very polite. But the Whittier guys, they were Neanderthals. They were East Coast, just rough kids, and we always wanted to beat them, and it was a real rivalry. And that game was an overtime victory, and I want to do a little play-by-play of how that overtime win actually went down. So it was 15-15. It was an extremely close game, back and forth, leads changing. 15-15. Coach Joe Proud calls a timeout, okay? And he says, all right, guys, we're going to run the shoot the moon play. This was the play that we had in our back pocket when we needed a goal. When we needed a goal, we put our man-up team out there, essentially on a face-off, run Tyler Kreitz with a long pole on the face-off, and we were going to get the ball no matter what. So we had JP, we had myself, we had Justin Stevens on attack, we had Al Mast on the wing, we had Kevin, Chris, one of you guys. Put a moon on the wing, and we had Tyler taking the long stick.
They were interchangeable. We don't know which one is which.
They're both fantastic. They're both going to be in this Sunday. And we had our long sticks hanging back, and our amazing goalie, Robbie Warner, in the cage. Tyler wins the face-off. He pops it out to Alex on the wing. Alex goes down, scoops it up. He gets an ice pick check in the head from a Whittier guy, drops the ball, picks it back up, no call.
Oh!
Where's my refs? The play, Shoot the Moon, is essentially a mixing of high crease picks for the moons. Everybody's coming off it. It all starts and initiates with Alex, because Alex is the man. Everybody on the other team knows that Alex is going to go to the goal. So he's sort of the decoy. He's got to initiate the play from up top. The idea is get Alex the ball, let everybody set up and run the play. But Alex has something else in mind. He's got that patented Alex Mast, look on his face. He's going to the goal. He's frothing at the mouth. He drives down with his right, switches to his left, takes a shot, right? Everyone's like, oh, geez, all right, but you got to let Alex shoot. Ball squirts out. I pick it up behind, pull it over. Okay, let's set it up, throw it back up to Alex. Alex immediately shoots it again. Everybody's yelling, shoot the moon, shoot the moon. This time it goes over the cage. Justin Stevens backs it up. Justin takes it up to the right side. He's pulling it up and throws it to Kevin Moon. I'm going to go there. It's like a little blooper pass. Kev drops it, picks it back up, finally gets it around back down to me. Finally, I said, Alex, okay, on the field. Let's go, shoot the moon. Give it up to Alex. He drives right. His defender sloshes off him. Moon circle. Netty T, Ned Topham, pops up high off the crease. Alex feeds him the ball. And Ned scores it. We win, we go nuts. And everything in St. Louis was just a walk in the park. The indignity of all indignities, however, was when we got on the bus and headed back down to Berkeley from Stockton. We were having a great time, doing keg stands in the back of the, probably doing keg stands on the top of the bus. We stopped at In-N-Out, right? And lo and behold, in front of us, the entire Whittier team is in line. As soon as our bus door opens and we all pile out, the Whittier guys look up at us and they basically just step out of the way. And they I'm going to close this with something a little crazy here, maybe, okay? I'm going to read a poem that my mom wrote. And the reason I'm going to read this poem is because I actually think it tells the answer, helps answer what this means to me. This is a poem, and Mom, I'm sorry I didn't tell you ahead of time I was going to do this. It's a poem that my mom wrote in 2005, and it's called Lock and Key. I'm just going to read a little bit of it. But it's about when my mom went to visit her mom's house in Vermont after many years, and it had been empty. And the fact that she could get into the house and observe what had happened with nothing changing the house is sort of the idea. So let me read a few lines from this, if you guys can indulge me. Travel 1,000 miles or more. Take out a key, open the door. A lamp on the table, a cloth on the table. The rooms are chilly, but it's all there. See what is possible in the absence of war. My key turns in the lock because we agreed that this key should turn the lock. The agreement, not the key, opens the door. He who has made a lock and a key has also made a door. Someone else said this, not me. But if this is so, there are people who are locksmiths. They make the lock and they make the key. Together, the lock and the key keep something in place. The lock stays with what stays. The key travels. Do you have it? No, I have it. This is the key. When this key turns in the lock, that door opens. Put a lock on those and give the key to those who will come through the door. Tell them what matters is not the key, but the agreement. We who place the lock agree with you that this is the key. So to me, this homecoming, this room, this house, this shelter from a storm outside, these coaches, these refs, these players, these guys who built this agreement that we have that is Cal Lacrosse, that is the key. That's what this means to me. And I just want to thank you all for allowing me to have this key. And let's share this key and keep this agreement. Thank you.
Jason!
Let's give it up one more time for all of our inductees tonight. Great job, guys.